Imagine a mammal stitched from nightmares, a furred body, a duck-like bill, venomous spurs, and eggs. This is the platypus, an evolutionary mashup that forces us to rewrite what a mammal can be. Our question: how does an egg-laying mammal with a duck bill and venomous spurs survive, hunt, and reproduce? We follow Ornithorhynchus anatinus into murky rivers to unravel a biological experiment gone gloriously brutal. This creature blends traits from birds, reptiles, and mammals, yet belongs to neither. Every oddity, the egg, the spur, the bill, is a piece of a survival puzzle. We'll fit them together, piece by piece. Think harmless and cute, and you miss the point. Under its soft fur lies a predator adapted to cold rivers, night hunts, and a violence measured in venom and crushing jaws of evolutionary history. To understand this animal, we must pry open its anatomy. Not to mutilate, but to see how weird design becomes deadly efficiency. The platypus is not a joke. It's a living Frankenstein of evolution. Start with the bill. Soft, leathery, packed with sensors. It looks like a duck's, but inside it hides electroreceptors tuned to the faintest twitch of prey buried in mud. Electroreception is rare in mammals. Ornithorhynchus anatinus locates prey by sensing tiny electrical fields generated by muscle contractions, a biological metal detector underwater. The bill's touch receptors map textures and shapes. In darkness, this sensory mosaic becomes the platypus's world, a blind hunter guided by electric whispers and a tactile atlas of the riverbed. Beneath dense waterproof fur, the body is streamlined. Muscles tuned for stealth propel the platypus through cold currents. Every stroke conserves heat. Every dive is calculated for energy and silence. Its skeleton carries relics of ancient history. Bones hint at reptilian ancestry. Jaw structures that whisper of a past where mammal and reptile features blurred, producing the odd anatomy we see today. Platypus eyes are small and adapted for low light. During dives, they close, relying on bill sensors. Sight is secondary. Touch and electricity are primary weapons in murky river theater. The mouth is toothless in adults, replaced by keratin pads. Those pads grind shells and crush exoskeletons, turning armored prey into nutritional pulp. Brutal chewing without teeth. Evolution's improvisation. Now the spur. A hollow bone on the male's hind leg connected to venom glands. At first glance a relic, but its design is optimized for delivery and pain. A biological dagger. The venom isn't deadly to humans, but it induces excruciating pain, swelling, and prolonged disability. For rival males and predators, it becomes an effective weapon in territorial disputes and mating wars. Biochemically, platypus venom contains peptides that disrupt nerves and clotting. It's a cocktail evolved for pain, not instant kill. An arsenal for dominance and deterrence. The nervous system exhibits both primitive and advanced features. Neural circuits process electrical and tactile input, integrating them into a hunting algorithm that works without sight or smell underwater. Sensory nerves in the bill connect to expanded brain regions. Those areas prioritize timing, rhythm, and minute electrical patterns. The platypus thinks in pulses and touches rather than images. Respiration and diving, physiology. Platypuses can hold their breath for a minute or two, slowing heart rate and diverting blood to vital organs. Diving is a finely tuned balance between hunger and hypoxia. Metabolism is adapted to cool waters. thick fur traps a layer of insulating air. A dense undercoat prevents heat loss, while the platypus prowls cold streams at night. Now, consider thermoregulation. Unique hormonal controls and fur structure allow survival where other mammals would freeze. This animal is tailored to a narrow, brutal niche. The hunt begins at dusk. Using bill sensors, the platypus roots through mud, scooping up worms, crustaceans, and insect larvae. Each scoop is a forensic excavation guided by electricity. It forages methodically, creating food caches in cheek pouches. On the bank, it chews and crushes armor. A hunt that looks gentle on the surface is a small-scale slaughter of the riverbed. Platypuses are primarily nocturnal and crepuscular. Darkness hides them and their prey, but also accelerates the evolutionary arms race. Camouflage, stealth, and sensory specialization reign. They exploit microhabitats, submerged root tangles, silty banks, and reed tangles. Their flattened tail acts like a rudder, storing fat and stabilizing long, energy-consuming dives. Though solitary most of the time, interactions turn violent during breeding season. Males spar with spurs, exchanging venom-laced stabs that determine access to mates. Courtship can be a blood sport. When threatened, a male can deliver repeated kicks, embedding the spur and injecting venom. The result is intense pain for the victim, and time, the social weapon of deterrence. They are not apex predators. Foxes, large fish, and birds will seize juveniles, but the platypus uses stealth, burrows, and nocturnal habits to avoid the spotlight of predation. Feeding is mechanical and brutal. Shells are cracked against keratin pads, exoskeletons pulverized, soft tissue swallowed. It's efficient, almost clinical, removing the living armor of river creatures. Social tolerance varies regionally. Some populations tolerate loose aggregations, others are fiercely solitary. Territory becomes a contested map drawn in scent marks and the faint scars of conflict. Communication is subtle. Low-frequency calls, scented secretions, and percussion with the tail on the water surface. Nothing glamorous, just chemical and acoustic notes that map social life in the dark. The platypus blends patience and speed. Slow, deliberate probing alternates with sudden lunges when prey is pinpointed. A hunter that waits and then unleashes precision violence. They can detect prey buried under silt, then excavate with surprising force, using the bill and forepaws. The riverbed erupts in a brief, efficient disturbance, leaving the platypus with a meal. Adaptation to freshwater shapes behavior. Seasonal flows, droughts, and floods alter feeding patterns. The platypus is a creature of rhythm, matching its life to the river's violent cycles. They are opportunistic. If fish eggs wash in, platypuses exploit them. If insect hatches erupt, they feast until fat reserves expand. Survival is opportunism disguised as cunning. At the heart of behavior lies a paradox. Gentle-looking animals performing efficient acts of predation, and males armed with venom yet seldom lethal. Brutality in nuance, not spectacle. Mating season rewrites daily patterns. Males increase patrols, engage rivals, and risk injury from spur fights. Sexual selection here is raw, a selection for aggression and painful deterrence. Females build complex burrows with chambers for eggs. These nests are dark, temperature-stable refuges. Inside, evolution stages its most improbable act. Mammalian eggs incubated in fur-lined crypts. Eggs are leathery, small, and quietly cruel in expectation. They contain all the life's potential, yet require careful incubation. The female's body becomes an incubator and a guardian in solitude. Hatchlings are tiny, vulnerable, and utterly dependent. Mothers nurse them not with nipples, but with milk secreted through skin folds. It's intimate, messy, and unforgiving parenting in wild banks. Young are weaned slowly, taught to dive and forage. Predation takes a toll. Many never leave the burrow alive. Survival rates shape the brutal calculus of platypus population dynamics. Males rarely help. Reproduction is solitary for females, who shoulder incubation and rearing alone. The platypus maternal life is laborious and high risk, with little room for error. Cannibalism is rare but possible under stress. Food scarcity pushes desperate behaviors. Nature's cruelty sometimes intrudes on parental care, making survival a fragile bargain. Territorial fights leave scars. Old males show battered hides and healed spur wounds. Their bodies become a map of past conflicts. Each mark a story of mating pressures and violent competition. Pairing systems vary. Some populations show loose polygyny, where dominant males court multiple females. The spur, again, is a decisive weapon in reproductive hierarchy. Predation pressures shape social distance. Where predators are numerous, platypuses use stealth and remote burrows, reducing encounters. Where threats are few, social tolerance rises slightly. Competition for food can spark direct conflict. Two animals converging on the same rich foraging patch may escalate to spur strikes or displacement. Resource abundance modulates violence. Juveniles learn by failure. Failed dives, missed prey, and near predation become lessons. Brutal as it sounds, this trial by error is how a fragile hatchling becomes an adaptable hunter. Interactions with humans are fraught. Historically hunted and misunderstood, platypuses suffered from habitat loss and collection. Human activity presses on the species' fragile natural rhythms. Reproductive cycle begins with nest construction. Females excavate winding burrows with nesting chambers lined in vegetation and fur. It is a womb of earth and secrecy for the eggs to incubate. Clutch size is small, usually 1 to 3 eggs. Investment per offspring is high. In a world of many small births, the platypus plays a long, costly reproductive game. Incubation is short in comparison to birds, but the hatchlings remain vulnerable. A mother's absence foraging can be fatal. Reproductive success hinges on balance, energy, food, and concealment. Nursing is primitive and efficient. Milk secreted through pores soaks the mother's fur. Chicks lap it up. No teats, just sticky sustenance. Evolution's messy shortcut. Growth is rapid initially, but maturity takes years. Females reach breeding age later, which slows population recovery. Long lives and low reproduction make them vulnerable to sudden environmental changes. Mortality in juvenile stages is a brutal filter. Predators, starvation, and exposure take many. Those that survive inherit a toolkit of behaviors and body traits honed by ancient selection. Females invest heavily and sometimes skip breeding in poor years. Reproductive restraint is a survival tactic. When resources are scarce, not reproducing preserves the female for the next cycle. Seasonality shapes mating windows. Rivers that flood or dry can shift timing, forcing platypuses to adjust their cycles. The environment is a harsh conductor directing life's tempo. Ecologically, the platypus is both predator and engineer. By digging for prey, it aerates sediments, influences invertebrate communities, and recycles nutrients across river systems. It controls populations of crustaceans and insect larvae, shaping food webs. Remove it, and prey populations could explode, altering algal growth and river chemistry in unpredictable ways. As prey, juveniles sustain foxes, large birds, and opportunistic fish. The platypus is woven into a complex tapestry. Its absence would reverberate through multiple trophic levels. Their burrows provide microhabitats for other species, pockets of shelter in riverbanks. In this way, platypuses engineer life for smaller organisms, subtly increasing biodiversity. They can indicate river health. Declining platypus numbers often signal pollution, water extraction, or habitat destruction. Their fate is an alarm bell for entire freshwater ecosystems. Climate change intensifies droughts and floods, disrupting foraging and nesting. The platypus's narrow physiological tolerances make it particularly sensitive to rapid environmental shifts. Human development fragments populations. Roads and dams isolate river stretches, limiting gene flow. Small, isolated populations risk inbreeding and local collapse, a slow genetic suffocation. Introduced species change food webs. Carp and invasive crayfish can outcompete native prey, forcing platypuses to shift diets or starve. Ecological invasions ripple in deadly, often unnoticed ways. Pollutants accumulate in sediments where platypuses forage, seeping into their bodies. Bioaccumulation subtly weakens immune systems and reproductive success, an invisible assault from industrial life. Conservation efforts use habitat restoration, pollution control, and protective legislation. But saving such an odd creature requires understanding the weirdness that makes it vulnerable and invaluable. Protected riparian corridors reconnect populations and restore gene flow. Simple acts like fencing to reduce livestock erosion can preserve burrow banks and stabilize nesting success. Citizen science helps too. Reports of sightings create maps of presence and decline. In a world of limited funding, human volunteers become eyes and ears for these secretive hunters. Captive care is challenging. Replicating freshwater diets, diving needs, and complex social pressures is hard. Many institutions struggle to keep platypuses alive beyond short exhibits. Genetic studies reveal deep divergence among populations. Some groups are unique evolutionary lineages. Protecting them preserves not just species numbers, but distinct branches of evolutionary history. What does the platypus force us to confront? That evolution is messy, sometimes grotesque, and that our categorical comfort, mammal versus bird, is a human illusion dissolved by one strange creature. Its very existence is a testament to contingency, accidents of history producing a living collage. We should marvel, but also recognize responsibility. Their odd complexity needs protection. Seeing the platypus as a curiosity is easy. Seeing it as an ecological actor deserving of rights and habitats is harder. Conservation demands more than fascination. It demands policy and will. There is a moral tension. We admire its strangeness, but often erode its home. Our infrastructure, pollution, and indifference chip away at a species that rewrites natural rules. If the platypus vanishes, we lose an evolutionary experiment and an educational mirror reflecting how wildness resists tidy classification. Extinction here would be a failure of imagination as much as policy. Look back at the question: how does an egg-laying mammal with a duck bill and venomous spurs survive? Through a suite of extreme adaptations, sensory, anatomical, and behavioral, honed by ruthless selection. The bill turns mud into information. Venom turns rivals into deterrence. Burrows turn banks into incubation machines. Each oddity is not random, but a precise answer to ecological pressure. Ornithorhynchus anatinus is both relic and innovation, ancient genetic roots and modern specializations. It survives by embracing contradiction, part reptile, part bird, entirely mammal in its maternal care. This creature doesn't exist to scare us, but it shocks precisely because nature can craft forms that challenge our categories and unsettle our assumptions about how life should be. Scientific curiosity must translate into action, protect waterways, restrict pollutants, restore riparian vegetation. The platypus depends on intact freshwater networks, habitats we can still choose to save. Public awareness matters. When people understand that an egg-laying venomous mammal lives among them, priorities shift. Strange beauty can become political will if we let it. Research continues to uncover deeper secrets, venom composition, regional genetic differences, and subtle behaviors. Each discovery refines conservation strategies and deepens our respect for this living oddity. The platypus teaches humility. Nature's experiments can be grotesque, elegant, and perfectly adapted at once. Our duty is to protect that messy genius from a tidy extinction. If you feel unease, that's the point. The platypus disturbs complacency, reminding us that evolution is stranger and more violent than folklore allows. That discomfort should drive curiosity, not apathy. Practical steps: support river conservation groups, reduce chemical runoff, and report sightings. Small actions protect the banks where burrows hide and pups are reared in secret. Science remains our flashlight in murky water. Continued study can reveal how to mitigate threats and preserve not only species, but the processes that produce such astonishing diversity. Platypus conservation is a test of values. Do we protect oddness, or only the familiar and beautiful? The answer will shape rivers for generations to come. In a world that prizes order, the platypus stands as a reminder. Life is experimental, sometimes grotesquely creative, and always worth defending. Its survival is ours to decide. Remember the spur, the bill, and the egg. Each is a chapter in a story of adaptation and survival. Together, they answer our central curiosity in bloody, brilliant detail. We end not with closure, but with a dare. Look deeper. The platypus forces us to confront evolution's willingness to experiment. That experiment is ongoing, if we allow it the chance to continue. The image of a duck-billed, venomous, egg-laying mammal will stay with you. Let it. Let it challenge your categories, your metaphors, and your willingness to act for the wild. Every river holding platypuses is a living archive of evolutionary risk-taking. Protecting those rivers protects evidence that life can, and will, keep inventing strange solutions. The brutality we described is not gratuitous. It's ecological truth. Survival demands adaptation, and adaptation sometimes produces forms that unsettle our senses and our ethics. Yet there is beauty in that brutality, a cruel elegance, venom that protects, bills that detect, burrows that nurture. The platypus is a lesson in functionality disguised as monstrosity. As we leave the riverbank, consider the cost of indifference. Habitats disappear slowly, and with them, experiments of evolution. Save the weird ones first. They are the wild's greatest teachers. If this stirred you, act. Support conservation groups, reduce pollution, and learn local species. The platypus's survival depends on informed, sustained human choices, more than on pity or spectacle. Share knowledge. Report sightings to citizen projects. Advocate for river protection. Science translates to policy only when people insist. Your attention is part of the lifeline for these rivers. The platypus remains one of evolution's most audacious stunts. It survives by combining contradictions into a coherent life strategy. Respect that coherence. Protect the rivers that let such experiments continue. Ornithorhynchus anatinus is not a museum curiosity. It's a living, breathing answer to a brutal question: how to survive in cold, contested waters. The answer is terrifying, beautiful, and fragile. We leave you with an image, a soft silhouette ghosting across moonlit water, a bill vibrating with electric whispers, a spur sheathed in venom, a creature that insists nature is never tidy.